Welcome to the Highly Sensitive and Strong podcast. I'm Daphne Lee, a former anxiety sufferer turned holistic anxiety coach, mindfulness teacher, mom, and guide for highly sensitive people. Anxiety was part of my life for as long as I can remember, and as a teenager, I was hospitalized for anxiety, panic disorder, and agoraphobia. Since then, I've learned to transform those challenges into strengths, and now I help people like you calm their nervous systems and live in a way that truly honors you. Each week, I'll share honest conversations, insights, and practical tools to help you heal anxiety in your body and mind so you can thrive as your highly sensitive and strong self. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Hello, friend. In the last episode, we talked about why many sensitive people feel emotionally drained after interactions and what emotional absorption can feel like inside the nervous system. For many people, once they begin recognizing that pattern, a new question naturally starts to come up. Am I an empath? Am I a highly sensitive person? Or maybe both. For many people, the word empath is the first word that ever helped them feel understood. Perhaps it helped explain why they felt so affected by other people's emotions, why they noticed tension in a room before anyone said anything, and why they sometimes left conversations feeling tired even when nothing difficult actually happened. So, today I want to talk about the difference between being a highly sensitive person and being an empath. Not so you have to choose a label, but so you can understand what your nervous system has been doing for you all along. Many people discover the word empath long before they ever hear the term highly sensitive person, and often that word feels like recognition. It helps explain experiences like feeling other people's emotions very strongly, being deeply affected by the emotional tone or energetic atmosphere, noticing shifts in relationship dynamics quickly, feeling responsible for keeping things calm or comfortable, or needing time alone after social interactions. For me, one of the ways this showed up very early was how easily I would cry when I saw other people suffering, even if it was in a movie and sometimes even in commercials. My nervous system would respond to those things as if what I was seeing was part of my own experience. And many highly sensitive people recognize themselves in experiences like that. For many people, the word empath becomes a way of saying something about me experiences the emotional world differently. And that insight matters because when you've spent years feeling like you were too sensitive or too affected by things, having language that reflects your experience can feel incredibly validating. So, if the word empath has helped you understand yourself, that recognition matters. For many people, it's the first language that helped them recognize how deeply they experience the emotional world. And learning what your nervous system is doing in those moments can bring even more clarity. The term highly sensitive person describes a nervous system trait. It's not a diagnosis or a disorder. It simply means your nervous system takes in more than most, and it processes that information more deeply. Sensitive nervous systems tend to notice subtle emotional signals, tone of voice, facial expressions, environmental changes, sensory input, social expectations, and internal body signals, often earlier and more strongly than most people. Sometimes this shows up as noticing a shift in someone's mood before anything is said, sensing tension in a room that others haven't named, or realizing you need quiet time before you can even explain why. This deeper processing affects both our emotional experiences and our sensory experiences. Many highly sensitive people notice things like being affected by noise or lighting, needing more recovery time after busy days, feeling deeply moved by music, art, or nature, needing time to think carefully before making decisions, and caring deeply about how others are feeling. Sometimes it also looks like needing time to settle after a full day of interactions, or feeling relief when your plans unexpectedly slow down, and noticing that your body tells you something is too much for your nervous system before your mind has words for it yet. Sometimes it means needing a little space between one part of your day and the next. When I was teaching yoga full time, I often needed about 20 minutes to lie down with my legs up the wall before or after teaching a class. From the outside, teaching yoga probably looked calm and relaxing, and sometimes it was, but my nervous system was still taking in the energy of the room, the students, and the experience of guiding people. So that short reset helped me transition back into the rest of my day, especially stepping back into my responsibilities at home as a mom and a wife. Many sensitive people need small transition spaces like that between one activity or interaction and the next because the nervous system is processing a lot of information. This is not a weakness, it's the way some nervous systems are wired. Because sensitive nervous systems notice emotional environments so quickly, many highly sensitive people naturally relate to the word empath. They walk into a room and feel tension immediately. They sense when someone is upset, even before anything is said. They feel relief when tension between people settles. Or they feel strain when relationships feel uncertain. And over time, it can begin to feel like they are absorbing emotions rather than simply noticing them. But what's often happening is not just emotional absorption in the way people sometimes imagine. It's nervous system awareness. Your body is tracking emotional information very quickly. This is one of the most important distinctions to understand. Empathy is the ability to recognize and respond to another person's emotional experience. Emotional carrying is when your nervous system begins holding that experience as if it were your own or as if it was something you needed to manage or take responsibility for. Sensitive nervous systems are very good at empathy, but many people were never taught how to stay connected without carrying everything. So their nervous systems learn to stay closely tuned to the emotional environment in order to stay safe, connected, or to prevent conflicts. Over time, that can feel like taking on other people's stress, feeling responsible for other people's comfort, or staying alert to emotional shifts all the time because your nervous system learned that staying aware helped relationships feel safer. And this can be exhausting. But once you recognize the pattern, it becomes much easier to stay connected to people you care about without feeling like you have to carry everything for them. Sometimes the word empath is described in ways that make sensitive people feel like they're absorbing everyone's emotions all the time, or like they have to protect themselves constantly from other people's energy. And while those descriptions are trying to explain a real experience, they can sometimes make things feel heavier or more overwhelming than they need to be. There are times when sensitive people benefit from learning how to create a sense of protection around themselves. When I was working as a massage therapist and a clinical health coach, I often spent my days with people who were in pain or going through something difficult. It wasn't unusual for people to cry during sessions, and I noticed that sometimes it helped my nervous system to imagine a kind of protective space around me, almost like a gentle boundary between what they were feeling and what I was feeling. Not because I needed to shut down my empathy, but because my nervous system was learning how to stay present without carrying everything with me afterward. Many sensitive people naturally discover strategies like that. And over time, what becomes even more helpful is learning how your nervous system can stay connected while also returning to balance more easily. Sensitive nervous systems are designed for attunement. We notice emotional environments quickly and we respond to them quickly. With support, we can also learn how to settle again after those moments of connection that leave us feeling stressed or overwhelmed. You don't have to shut down your empathy in order to feel steady. You just need tools that help your nervous system stay connected without carrying everything. So, which one are you? Many people wonder whether they are an empath or a highly sensitive person, but often the more helpful question becomes, what does your nervous system need right now? Because the goal isn't to find the perfect label. It's to understand what helps your nervous system feel safe and feel steady. If you're starting to notice these patterns in yourself and you're wanting a little more guidance around how to work with your nervous system, I have a short audio course called Anxiety Relief: Training Your Nervous System for Safety. It walks through why anxiety doesn't respond to logic alone and gives you simple, practical ways to begin supporting your body when activation starts to rise. I'll include the link in the show notes if you'd like to explore it. Understanding what helps your nervous system begins with noticing what it's already telling you. Do you need more recovery time after interactions? More clarity around emotional boundaries? More support settling after strong environments? Or more permission to step back when something feels like too much? Understanding your needs gives you something much more helpful than a label. It gives you options. When people begin learning about sensitivity in nervous system terms, something often shifts. Instead of thinking, I absorb everything, they begin noticing, I respond quickly to emotional environments. And that shift creates space. It creates room to understand what your nervous system is actually doing, because responding is something the nervous system can learn to regulate. It's something you can work with instead of feeling like a sponge that has no way to stay steady in what you're experiencing. Responding is something you can support. And once that begins to make sense, sensitivity often starts to feel less overwhelming and more understandable. And this understanding can be especially important right now because we're living in a time when there is so much happening in the world. There's a lot of uncertainty, conflict, and suffering that our sensitive nervous systems feel very strongly. So, when you understand how your nervous system responds to emotional environments, it becomes easier to stay open and caring without feeling like you have to carry everything yourself. And the world needs people who can do that, people who can stay aware and compassionate and steady at the same time. If today's episode helped you recognize yourself in some of these patterns, I created a yoga nidra practice on Insight Timer called Nervous System Reset and Deep Rest. It supports your body in settling after taking in a lot of emotional information, and it can be a gentle way to let your nervous system integrate what we talked about today. I'll include the link in the episode notes if you'd like to try it. In the next episode, we're going to talk about something many sensitive people quietly wonder about once they recognize these patterns. How do you stay connected to people you care about without absorbing their emotions? Because learning how to stay present without carrying everything is one of the most important nervous system skills sensitive people can build. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a form of awareness. And with the right support, it becomes something you don't have to protect yourself from anymore. It becomes something you can trust, something you can understand, and something the world truly needs right now. Take good care. You are sensitive. You are strong. And your awareness is something this world needs. I'll see you next time.